Hey everybody, welcome to ClearTech Loop. I am Joe Peterson. I'm the Chief Analyst for ClearTech Research, and ClearTech Loop is a focused podcast series. We're delivering sharp, real-time insights at the intersection of cybersecurity, cloud, and AI security. Whether short or deep dive, each episode unpacks the risks, realities, and the next big ideas reshaping the tech landscape. The CISO Slant is a series of conversations with security leaders that are navigating a new era of risk and responsibility. But it's not just about protection. We ask what they see on the horizon and how they're preparing for it right now. So today, I'm here with Stephenie Southard, and Stephenie is the CISO of Baxter Credit Union, and she's going to help us cut through the noise through a 3-question lens. Welcome, Steph.
Thank you, Joe. Glad to be here. Excited to have the conversation.
Oh, appreciate your time. Can you take a moment and tell us about your role and the organization where you lead security strategy?
Sure. Yeah. I've been with BCU since 2019 and a collaborative effort with, a lot across my team in the organization. We make sure we're protecting BCU assets, its members' assets, and all the wonderful thing that comes with being in a credit union industry, and also, preparing for what's ahead and what are those fraudsters up to next. So we have a very exciting role and always excited to be in the day-to-day of it.
Well, thanks for that little bit of an overview. Now for the 3 questions. From a CISO's perspective, how should you be thinking about cyber risk in terms of dollars and business impact?
Yeah, great question, because that doesn't necessarily come in our normal day-to-day trainings, but it's something that's imperative in working in those day-to-day situations. So CISO should approach cyber risk by framing it in those financial terms to communicate effectively with those business leaders. So quantifying the financial impact, like analyzing the cyber risk in terms of indirect, direct, long-term cost. Also, it's risk-based. So following those frameworks like FAIR and NIST 830 can kind of help quantify some of that cyber risk. And then alignment with your business objectives, of course, and then effective communication with executives. So you have to have all different kinds of training styles in your back pocket, because when you're talking to each different executive, they're going to absorb and understand that in their own perspective. So be able to come to the table and talk to all.
That's pretty important, right? Not talk to them in bits and bytes, talk to them in their own language.
Exactly.
And that's a learning. That's a learning that CISOs have to, they don't there's not a CISO school that you sort of can go to learn.
Yeah. And the more you talk with them, the more you learn about how to communicate with them, right? And what they're looking for in their way of thinking. So it just becomes that better relationship and that better communication between the two.
Yeah. You're telling me that a CISO is sort of like AI. It learns. When it talks.
Right. Always learning. We are the original AI.
The original. That's great. In your opinion, what is the best way to integrate cyber risks into the business's overall financial risk model?
Okay. Thank you. All right. So we can do that in a lot of ways, but it also is assessing that cyber risk exposure, right? And identifying those key digital assets, looking at when that potential threat and other types of threats coming into the business. It's also quantifying that risk in those financial terms, like we talked about before. How do you really communicate that in a perspective that everyone in that audience is going to understand it? But it also is integrating that risk into those different types of how does it impact the organization? How does it look in the organization's risk model versus the risk that we're looking at, from that day-to-day perspective?
And that's really important because they're really 2 different things. And sometimes, although we'd like them to come together, they don't always neatly come together.
Right. Exactly.
Right? Yeah. 3rd question, how should the CISO, and we got to say it because we said AI already. So we already dropped the AI bomb, but how should the CISO be thinking about AI adoption in terms of its use to secure emerging threats and from an organizational governance perspective?
Yeah, we're beefing up our defense layers, looking at our threat detection and response if we would have such an incident. It's also looking at how do we make sure we're assessing the risk across the organization. Do we have all the right players at the table? And is there a governance process? Because quickly it can become out of control and you're not able to really understand how it's being used in your organization. Does it have access to PII or other critical processes? But also, how are your vendors using that, right? And how does that impact your data and your processes and your privacy regulations? So it's looking at the impact, but it's also making sure you're prepared that in case there is such an AI incident, are you prepared, right? Do you have those playbooks and can you have that response ready to go?
That's a great answer. And you're right. You've got to be thinking about the AI and the tooling that you're using and the AI security that you need to put in place outside of the tooling, like the governance framework. So thank you for answering the questions. Yeah. Great insights. Guys, stay in the loop because we're going to lead with what's next. Thanks for joining today.